Why does God not show up? Do many people wonder why God does not show up? But they do not wonder, what is the purpose of God's presentation? We could say so. God would present himself to put order in the world. Yes, that is a good answer, with an aggravating one. This way of acting would be an imposition. Those that were not to follow what God determines would be punished or dead. Is it therefore this world that God would desire? A world where people obeyed out of fear? God would not want such a world, because there would be people who would always be thinking about plotting against God, or would they consider God a slave? Thus the non-direct presence of God is like a father who leaves his children in charge of the house. Some may be good children, others not. But each child chooses to follow or not to follow in a free way. This is how it is in the world. People are free to accept to live rightly or wrongly, free from imposition. A stronger son can force a weaker son to do what he does not wish. The weaker son may wish to wait for the righteous father, or choose to do the same as the stronger. This demonstrates character, and this determines whether an individual would accept to live divine norms in free form or in the form of imposition. As the right way of living leads to more living, and the wrong way leads to destroying oneself and their fellows, then in a period all the destructive individuals receive what they seek for destruction, and the remainder do not impose precision to do what it is good, for they would be aware of what is good and what is bad. Thus God manages a free world and seeks only evolution without destruction, without compelling anyone to obey its norms. In other words, of course the person who suffers over the judgment of a bad person, learns that being bad is bad, already bad is naturally destroyed. That is why God does not present himself imposing his will on all the beings of the earth. Why do most men do not do the will of God? We must understand that God's will is the right life. Correct in every way, in health, in morals, in nature and many other factors. For example, why does man destroy nature? Man destroys nature for profit to have tools to satisfy his pleasures. Why and what is pleasure? Pleasure is the will to do what you want through your inner goals. An ecologist can take pleasure in camping in the midst of nature and bathe in waterfalls and streams. Already an entrepreneur may consider this terrible, and prefer their whirlpool. The question is, what is the consequence of every pleasure? A correct ecologist tries to live seeking a symbiosis with nature, but the average businessman tends to change nature, destroying at will. An ecologist tries to know nature and obey the laws that make it alive. The average businessman tends to destroy nature and build on his own inner visions and wants independent of the outside. Thus pleasure is not wrong as long as the interior of the individual is connected in obeying what is good. And what is good? Good is all that generates symbiosis with natural laws, in order to help as many beings as possible for the longest time imaginable. But the big problem is in selfishness. This is the principle that makes most people do not follow the path of God. And what is selfishness? Selfishness is the imposition of my inner world against the evolution of the outer universe. How would it be? If I throw trash on the street, I am polluting nature and forcing others to suffer from this problem, and that is going against the evolution of the outer universe, and that is selfishness. So everything that is not good is selfishness. Since the good is all that generates symbiosis with the natural laws, in order to help the greatest number of beings, in the best possible way, for the longest time imaginable,